Hi, Tim Unkert here, and in this video, I want to take a look again at my 90s style blog experiment. If you've been watching the channel, you might have seen a video where I've talked about creating a 90s style blog and seeing how much traffic I can get from it from just sharing on social networks um, and no paid advertisements, just through natural kind of growth through my social networks. Okay, so it's been about a week into the experiment. Right now, I'll share some stuff with you. First visit, there's about 23 people have visited in the week. I think there's 140 total page views up here. So it's doing all right for a first week. Now, this is the 90 style blog. To the left of the screen, I included a little padding here so it's not right up against the edge. But yeah, basically plain text on a white background. I have embedded some YouTube videos that I've made that deal with each particular post. I'll include a link to the blog below. So I looked at a few tools in creating this blog. The first one was Vim. That worked very well with Markdown using Goyo. Then I looked at Emacs and using Olivetti mode and org mode together. And now I'm looking at VS Code and using Markdown and VS Code. And I have to say, I'm pretty impressed. Yesterday, if you were watching the channel, you might have seen that I was having some issues with VS Code, running kind of slow, but then other programs were running slow. And I think it might have been that I was on the beta channel. I might run into that issue again, but at least with Markdown, it worked really well. So I want to go through my journey with VS Code using Markdown and talk about it and talk about the experience. Okay, so I first created a Markdown file, and this is what it looks like in VS Code. They have some highlighting here. Let me see if it, sometimes when it just loads, it takes a moment for the highlighting but you'll see it has some basic highlighting. You don't have a ton in Markdown anyways, but you have a nice, this is the default theme that comes with VS Code when you load it up. It's the default dark theme. So you have this nice blue heading. It's pretty nice to look at. You have just white text on a black background. It's easy to write, good on the eyes. You notice when I put a link, it changes the color to this light brown that's kind of easy on the eyes. So I like that. When I do italics, which you can do either with an asterisk before and an asterisk right after, or in my case, I kind of like to do the underline before and the underline right after. It does italicize it right in the editor, which is pretty cool. Then when I put in code, it's not highlighting any of the code, but it's nice. It came out, if you look at the blog, let's switch back here. Look at that part where I put in the HTML. It came out perfectly here for the code blocks. So that's really nice. And then, so I went down and I wrote my blog, and about midway through, I said, I really like to know what my word count is. So I searched, and there's a free extension that I think Microsoft makes, which worked really well. And I think my internet's slow, is why they're searching it up. But yeah, here it comes. Word count. So it's this word count one, and you'll see right down here, it gives you the total words in the document. And that's important for me when I'm writing a blog, because I am trying to, with this experiment, I want to see how much traffic I get. So I am trying to write blogs that will optimize themselves for search engines, at least in terms of length. And from the studies I read, it's around 1,500 to 1,600 words. This blog is 1,608 words. I'm not always aiming for that. This one just kind of happened to be real close. But anyways, so that was a nice little feature to add, nice little plugin. As I'm going through, I wrote my blog, finished it up, and then I'm like, well, what if I wanted to preview it? Well, with Control-Shift-V, there's a natural preview built in. Let me get on the document here and do Control-Shift-V, and you'll see that it previews it. Now it's previewing what it would look like with my theme or with my VS Code theme, right? It's mine's going to be, obviously you saw the web page, it was black with a white background. So if you have a dark theme, it's going to preview it with this dark kind of setting. Now with Vim and Emacs, you either have Goyo for Vim or Olivetti for Emacs. With VS Code, you have Zen mode, which let me see if I can search view. I remember the shortcut. Let me see where it is. Go appearance. Yeah, Zen mode. So Control K plus Z. So if I wanted to go into Zen mode, I can click on it in the menu and it goes into Zen mode. And I can get rid of this mini map as well. So I just have this, or I can go Control K Z and it goes out of it. So it can toggle back and forth. So that's nice. I don't even have to install a extension for that. It comes built in. So again, I only have one extension installed. It was very easy. You just go, you click install. Okay, so I'm liking it. Okay, so now let's go to my browser here, and I'll just open a new tab and type VS Code Markdown and do a little search. And you'll see I visited this page because I'm like, okay, well, is there a tool in VS Code where I can just export this to HTML? And it happens that you do have to have Node installed if you want to use their method, which I did, and it works quite well. So we go down here, and it's worth reading this stuff. Compiling Markdown into HTML, you want to install a Markdown compiler. So you will first want to install Node.js. And if you want to do that in a Chromebook, fire up a terminal. And you're going to type curl-sl https://deb.nodesource.com. I'll include this in the description as well. /setup_16.x. So that's going to give you version 16 of Node, which is the most current at the time of this recording. And then sudo -e bash dash. And if you hit that, it will go ahead and it'll run the curl command, and then it'll prompt you to either just install Node. There's a command at the bottom. You can read that and just copy it and paste it into the terminal and run that. Or what I did was also install the Yarn package manager, which sometimes you do use Yarn with like React and stuff like that. So, I just went ahead, and that's not really any extra space. I mean, it's very small. And that installs Node as well, okay? Once you install Node, if you're in a Chromebook, like I am, to install this, you'd have to include a sudo in front of this npm install -g markdown-it. And you can actually do a little short case. So you can, instead of instead of install, just do -g, and then it's markdown-it. So I installed it globally. You could also just install it in your package folder that you have your Markdown with, I guess, if you wanted to do it that way. Okay, so now, so I had a Markdown file created. They went with the sample one. Then they recommended next, go to terminal, configure tasks, and create tasks.json from template, and then you choose others, and then it'll create this, and you want to change it to this, but instead of sample, I typed the name of my Markdown file, and instead of sample.html, I typed the name of my HTML file. Now, I think what you could do is you could probably just open your terminal here and type markdown-it, then the name of the file. So let's do creating a worksheet with javascript.md-o for your output, and another name let's call it cool html.html, and let's run it and see what happens. Okay, so now we get this file cool html.html. I'm gonna trash this terminal here, and if I open that, then it's got the HTML. So I'm thinking configuring the tasks.json file. I did that and it worked the way they described it in the article. But I'm thinking I could just run the terminal command. It's easy to pull up a terminal in VS Code and just run it quick. Now that I have this markdown-it installed. So that was something I learned from the VS Code site too. I didn't know about that Markdown compiler. I used Pandoc. It's another option. It's MIT licensed. So that was great. Great documentation on this. So I'm really happy with my experience writing this blog in VS Code. It came out really nice. And if you'll see in cool.html, let's just experiment with this a little bit. So this is what I would do to get this looking nice. First off, you notice it's just the HTML, which I like, because then I can go up here. I can do the just exclamation point, do the Emmet abbreviation, hit tab. It gives me the head of a basic head of the document. I can just hit Control X here, go down here, to, Control X to cut, and then go down here, Control V to paste. Pretty nice. Okay, it's not formatted yet, but we'll get to that in a moment. Okay, and you can right-click and format, but I'll show you the keyboard shortcut to do it, which is pretty nice. Then I'd put a title like something like cool HTML. Hit Control S to save. I'd put in my description. Now I can do an Emmet abbreviation for that, which is just this, and it gives me the name equals description, which is nice. And I'll just say this is a cool HTML page. And then I can put in my little style to make it a 90s style blog. So do my style, which is basically just, in case you're wondering again, it's a body with a max width of 800 pixels and a padding of 20 pixels. And that's all I did for the style. That's going to end it up with basically on the left-hand side of the screen, like that 90s style. Okay. And then if I go down here, and I do have my Google Analytics tag, so I would have my start of my Google Analytics tag here. And then the end of my Google Analytics tag here. And that's the little, that's the little script, and you put the little script in between. Okay, so now it's still not formatted. It's all of the file, all the stuff is up against the left. Now, you don't need to format. It's still going to render properly in the browser. The formatting is more for another developer that would want to come in. Now, I don't know why you would have another developer come in for your 90 style blog, but if you do want to format it in a nice format, you can do Control-Shift-I, and that's going to run. You can see it's running through the document. Boom. It's now all formatted and properly indented, which is nice. Very quick to format it. So yeah, really impressed with this editor for Markdown support. So yeah, thumbs up. Try it out for Markdown in case you want to create a 90 style blog. Stay tuned. I'll keep letting you know how the 90 style blog is doing. Yeah, if you like this channel, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. It really helps the channel grow. You can also follow me on GitHub. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. You can also support me on Teacher Pay Teachers. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. And I'm starting to do a little bit more Twitter as well. I'll leave a link to that in the description below, so you can follow me there if you like. If you like this video, thanks for watching either way, and have a great day. I hope to see you in the next one.